We hear a lot about the coronavirus. We get overloaded with media about the virus and how it's spreading. But how do we stay healthy and how do we avoid the coronavirus? In today's video, I'm going to explain not only the basics, but I'm also going into the more complicated ways of staying safe and staying healthy. So let's begin. Our health is the most important thing that we possess, and maintaining our health should be the most important thing we actually do. So in order to understand our health, we must have a benchmark and a reference point to know our levels. Let's Get Checked helps with so many different testing, whether it's women's health, men's health, or even men's testosterone levels. You know, there's a lot of symptoms when it comes to low testosterone or low T that you may want to think about if you're experiencing these. Sometimes people can think it's something totally different. They don't really think about the fact that they might have a low hormone level or a low testosterone level. Some of the indications of having low T are as follows: change in sleep patterns, physical changes, including increased body fat, as well as sexual changes, having that decreased desire, and emotional changes with decreased motivation or depression. And a lot of these things happen and we're not even aware that it directly reflects on a hormonal imbalance. We might think it's just getting older, right? Or maybe we're going through a stressful time in our life, but it actually is an indication of low testosterone. Let's Get Checked is CLIA approved and CAP accredited, and that's high-ranking accreditation, so you can feel really safe with going with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked offers 4 male hormone tests, with the Male Hormone Advanced Kit being the most comprehensive, tracking 5 biomarkers. So go ahead right now in the description below, click on that link, use the code for the 20% off, and get checked. Whether it's your hormones or whatever, you owe it to yourself to have the knowledge, because knowledge is power. Again, thank you, Let's Get Checked, for sponsoring this video. In the previous video, I talked about how to keep your sanity during the coronavirus outbreak, and that's extremely important. So if you didn't catch that video, go back and watch that. The link is in the description below. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how you can stay healthy, how you can avoid the coronavirus, and right now I want to go over just the basics. The basics are important for almost absolutely anything. Let's go over that before we get into the more complicated suggestions in the video. Okay, let's go. A lot of these are basics, obviously, you've probably heard of them, but let's go over them right now. The first one is to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Highly important. Sleep helps us in our defenses. When we're sleeping, we're able to rebuild ourselves. That creates a barrier between us and sickness. So getting that healthy sleep is so important, and that's important to any sort of illness, so think about that. The second thing is to maintain a healthy weight, and you need to figure out what that is. You can go online and figure out what a healthy weight for you is in a healthy range and begin to work to lose the weight if necessary. I know that it can be tough and overwhelming, but we need to stay healthy and we need to stay within our prime weight so that our body is able to do what it needs to do. When it's carrying a lot of excess weight, that's a lot of weight on our knees, on our joints, and it causes an unhealthy situation. So being aware of that is highly important. You want to stop smoking, and I know that can be tough. Okay, I get it. But when we smoke, we become more susceptible to disease. Okay, it's just the way it is. I mean, you know, I know a lot of people say, well, I smoke, so therefore I'm not going to get a cold or a flu or anything. But really, honestly, we really do need to quit smoking. And I quit smoking a number of years ago, and I've been a lot healthier. I feel better. My skin looks better. And it's just a win-win. And so if you quit smoking today, tomorrow, the next day, it takes a few months for you to look better and feel better. But over time, you will be healing from the inside out. And it really does help you to offset any sort of flus or colds or just getting sick or run down. Another part about the stopping smoking too is that a lot of times we get smoker's cough, okay? Smoker's cough is a big deal, and right now, in the situation that we're in, the last thing you want to be doing is going around coughing everywhere, okay? 1, it's not healthy, but 2, people are going to assume that you're sick, okay? So really thinking about that, even if it's smoking weed, okay, because there's a lot of folks, it's legal in many states, it's legal in many countries around the world, but really thinking about that and thinking about your health, because if you are coughing and you have a smoker's cough, that means that you are unhealthy at this moment. So being aware of that is really important too. Maybe curtailing your smoking as well as stopping smoking can actually really lead to a more healthy life. Another thing that you want to do is you don't want to drink to excess, okay? When we drink to excess, again, we put ourselves in a bad health position, right? We don't want to do anything that can compromise our health and compromise our ability to, to make sure that we don't get unhealthy. And, our immune system is so important. So when we're smoking or we're drinking excessively, that's all going to complicate the immune system. It's going to get in the way of our ability to repair and to stay healthy. And this is a time that's extremely important to be as healthy as you possibly can and to really work to maintain that on a daily basis. The last two things is you want to work to manage your stress and anxiety level. I discussed how to work with your anxiety and how to deal with it with the coronavirus in the last video. The link is here in the description. And that can really help you to deal with the anxiety from the media intake about this virus, because I know it's overwhelming and it's stressful and it's adding to your stress level. So definitely watch that. And we have to work on dealing with our stress and anxiety because that breaks down our immune system as well. So that's a very important video to watch. Last but not least, you want to eat a healthy diet, which is rich of vegetables, fiber, whole grains. If you're eating protein, it needs to be lean protein. And remember, protein goes a long way. You don't have to be eating, that types of protein like chicken, beef in every single meal. So really thinking about, what do I need to eat to feel good? Remember, we don't want to eat man-made stuff. So, when you're talking about breads, when you're talking about pastries, when we're talking about things that are created, a lot of sugar is unhealthy. Sugar is really, really unhealthy for the body. It causes inflammation. Inflammation is something that we want to avoid, okay? So think about that. Vegetables, salads, anything you can make in a salad, good fiber, that's good for you. Those things are important. Lean protein. So be aware of that because what we put into our body directly reflects on our health, and it really helps our immune system to fight what it needs to fight. But if we're putting trash in, well, we're probably not going to be feeling very good, and it's going to be really tough for us to fight an illness if it comes our way. Now I want to talk about the important actionables to remember that are a little more complicated and directly specific suggestions to avoid the coronavirus, okay? The stuff we just talked about was basic to avoid any type of virus or illness, but let's get specific. The first thing you want to do is you want to wash your hands with soap and water, and remember that the coronavirus is a protein, so it breaks down with soap, okay? So you want to use soap and water first. So if you have soap and water, get some warm water, wash your hands, do at least 20 seconds of washing your hands, sing the alphabet song, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, just do that, okay? You can sing the happy birthday song, whatever song you want, but do 20 seconds. Okay, if worse comes to worse and you have nothing to wash your hands, Purell, one of those alcohol, aloe-based things will work, but it's not as good as soap. Okay, so just do that first, wash them for 20 seconds, sing a song you want to sing, put a timer on your smart watch, whatever, put a timer on your phone, and make sure you do 20 seconds. The second thing you want to do is avoid touching your eyes, right? Touching your nose, touching your mouth, sticking your fingers in your ear, right? I mean, we don't want to do that, especially when our hands are not washed. Okay, like if you just shook someone's hand and you're like, you don't want to do that, okay? So what I'm saying is you want to really wash those hands and you don't want to be touching places on your face, okay? And be really aware of that. And it's going to be really hard for some of you because you're used to touching your nose, you're used to putting your hands on your face, maybe you're constantly doing this stuff all the time or touching things. Being aware that that can spread the virus very quickly. You can touch a countertop where it's there, you don't even know it. You're not even coming into connection with other people, but you touch something that they've touched and bam. So you got to be really careful of that because this virus can live on things for days. Okay, so somebody could have touched something 2 days before you touch it, you can get it. So you got to be really, really conscious of that. Be conscious of how many times you're touching your face and start limiting those amount of times to 0. You want to avoid crowds and close contact with people. Okay, so you don't want to be in huge crowds as much as you can possibly not be in them, okay? I get it. If you're flying back on a plane, it's going to be pretty tough, okay? But, only do air travel if it's highly necessary at this point. A plane is very small area. It's very close quarters. It's very confined. And it's very hard to have any sort of distance, right? So being aware of that, avoid those crowds, avoid contact with people directly, take that distance, that 6-foot distance. If you're invited to a party or a gathering, just just honestly say, hey, you don't feel comfortable with it. I mean, the last thing you want to do is get it from somebody or give it to somebody when you don't even have the symptoms. So we're wanting to try to keep this in check so we can get out of this quarantine as fast as we possibly can. The fourth thing is that you want to stay home if you're sick. Relatively self-explanatory. However, if you have a cold, if you have a flu, if you have allergies, a sinus infection, or it could be this, you want to stay home. You don't know what it is. And also, even if it is just a flu, a regular flu, or a cold, you're more susceptible to getting sicker. You're also putting other people in jeopardy as well. So stay home, drink your fluids, drink your water, take care of yourself, tell your other family members how you feel, get on the phone with your general practitioner and talk to them and see what needs to be done next. If you need to get a test for the coronavirus or what needs to be done so that you can take care of yourself and also keep your family members healthy as well. The next thing you want to do is you want to clean and disinfect surfaces. And I know this is harder than ever because I've been on Amazon. I've seen that Clorox wipes are gone. I've been at the grocery store. I've seen the same thing. But I do have soap and I do have cleaning supplies at home. So it's a little more tough. It's a little more challenging. There's a little more work. But we need to disinfect and we need to clean all surfaces in our home and in our office. So on your desk and your chairs, taking care of that, your workspace, all these different things need to be cleaned. And, it's important because you don't know who's touched what. You have no idea. People come and go. And so we need to be really proactive about this because, none of us want to get sick and we want to make sure that what we're touching and everything has been disinfected. So it's very important. Make sure you're doing that at your house and your work on a consistent basis and being proactive about it. The sixth thing that I want to encourage you to do is no more handshaking for a while. Okay, we don't want to handshake. We want to give a touch-free greeting. I know that we've been seeing on the news the old elbow, but you know what? Why do we want to do that when a lot of times people are coughing right here, right? They cough right in their elbow. Here we go. Not a good idea. I mean, the toe thing, that just looks funny. But we need to do something that's not about touching. So maybe it's be calm and namaste. Something like that. Maybe it's bowing. You're doing like little sincere bows, the peace sign, a really big smile. All those things tell the other person that you're really happy to see them. You don't have to touch them. I know we like to be touchy-feely. That's part of it. And I love to hug too, but right now, probably not the best thing to do. So having those no handshake, no contact, but really cool greetings, come up with your own thing. Come up with something cool. Give yourself a signature non-touch greeting. Maybe other people will follow you. You'll start something. So have fun with that and be creative. And I think that's something we can do on our own and kind of take our mind off some of the stress too, but also show people that we care and we love them. Okay, the next thing is you need to clean the one thing that you're holding on to all day long. Your cell phone, your smartphone. That phone, many of us have that in our hand 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And many of us never clean it. You never clean it. When was the last time you disinfected your phone? Now, I'm not talking to throw it under running water and ruin the whole phone, but I'm saying if you can have like a disinfectant, kind of like a rag or one of those wipes, it's great. And they just said that the Clorox wipes can be used on an iPhone. Definitely go do your own due diligence on that. I don't want people's phones ruined, but I've heard that it works, and I used it on mine yesterday, and it's fine. Okay. Also, the soap wipes that a lot of women get for their makeup. Okay, you can use something like that as well. Those soap wipes that, they can take off your makeup and you kind of wash it off. So you soap it up and then you get a damp cloth and you really clean it off, cleaning off the case and stuff like doing. And that's really important. And that's something you want to do every day right now. Especially if you're using the phone a lot, you want to use it every day because many of us, we put the phone up to our face, we're holding the phone and then we're touching our eyes, we're holding the phone in bed. I mean, come on. If that's carrying something, you're going to get it. So washing that phone off, obviously not getting it wet and, ruining it, but using one of those types of wipes to clean it off and to sterilize it is highly important. Okay, the next thing, guys, I love cash too. I love cash, but we got to be careful with handling cash. Okay, so thinking about that. Cash has always been dirty. Okay, we don't know where it's been. There's always jokes, right? Everybody's talking about everything from strip clubs to everything. We don't know where the money's been. Now more than ever, we need to be concerned about handling cash. Okay, if you're having to handle cash, you need to wash your hands immediately after. Obviously, if you're in the banking business, you're wearing gloves. Okay, and that's why they're wearing gloves when they're counting this money, because they don't know what's on it. There used to be an issue with the drugs, like drug residue, cocaine, that kind of sort of thing. Now we're dealing with the coronavirus, right? So if you can, try not to handle that much cash. Use a credit card, and then when you're signing for the credit card at those little terminals, at the grocery store or whatever, sign maybe with your knuckle, that sort of thing. If you're having to put in the digits to the passcode for your debit card, don't use your finger that you can later on touch in your eye. Use your knuckle. Be creative, okay? And that's important. Because remember, a lot of times we don't even think about it. Maybe, our eye itches and we go right in there right after we've done that. We don't know if there's a potential of getting something, but we want to eliminate that potential. The ninth thing that you want to do is distance yourself. You want to be far enough away from anybody so that you don't get infected by them or vice versa. So think about a good sneeze, right? If somebody's sneezing on you, there's a real potential of getting something, right? If it goes in your mouth or your eyes, that sort of thing. So the reason why you want to keep distance is if somebody's coughing or hacking or that sort of thing, that it doesn't come in to your field here that can actually create illness within you. So, we don't want to emotionally distance ourselves from our family and friends and loved ones, but we have to physically distance ourselves. And make sure to physically distance yourself when going into public places and what have you. Don't be right up next to people, and really just get some distance. Take your time when you're going shopping and doing things you need to do. Just take the time you need, have the distance you need, and be really aware of that, because you might have it and not even know it. You could be giving it to other people, or other people might not even know they have it and give it to you. So be really, really aware of that. And last but not least, you want to wash your clothes consistently. I know that many of you do the smell test. You know what I mean? Well, I wore it yesterday. It's not bad. I'll wear it again today. Maybe some of you might wear things 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. Maybe it's the pair of jeans that you like, but every time you wash them and dry them, they get really small. And so you're like, I'll wear them for a few days and then I'll put them in the washer. Well, not during these times. Okay, so you need to be washing your clothes consistently. We don't want to be re-wearing our clothes day after day. Okay, and I know that's tough. For some of you, that's really tough. Maybe you don't have a washer and dryer, but we really need to really focus on those types of things, okay? One of the things that I've also realized, if you're in a confined space with a lot of people, let's say that you were on a flight with people because you had to fly, okay? You don't want to fly right now unless you necessarily need to do it. But if you're on a flight with people, when you get home, you need to immediately take the clothes that you were wearing, put them in the washing machine, wash them on at least warm with detergent. You'll want to take a shower. You'll want to wash your face. You'll want to wash your hair. The bag that you had on the plane needs to be disinfected. If you can spray it with Lysol, everything in that bag needs to be cleaned, okay? So you need to be really highly aware of these things, because you don't want to bring something home to your family members. They don't want that, okay? So be aware that washing those clothes is your first defense, okay? Because you're on that plane, people are sneezing, coughing, hacking, and really maintaining a sense of cleanliness when it comes to the bags you had on the plane, the handle of the bag, the list goes on. So be aware of that. These things can save you from getting ill. And it can save you from passing the virus to someone else, because you might be in tip-top shape, not even know you had it, but you could pass it to somebody, okay? And somebody that might be a lot older, and somebody that's in a critical position as far as our health is concerned, that may not be able to deal with the virus and may die from it. So this is life-saving things that we need to incorporate in our day-to-day life. I really hope you share this with everybody you know. Everybody can use this information to safeguard themselves. If you have other complicated or more complicated suggestions, please add those to the comment section below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. And we want everybody to stay well. We want to get through this as quick as possible. We want to get as many people as possible to be healthy and to get over this. And the people that are dealing with it and are sick, we want them to get better. And we do care about them. So I hope this video has helped you. You know, I care about you. And the reason why I do these videos is I want you to live your true life, because it's important to me. Because if you're doing that, you're happy and healthy, and I'm happy for you. So please share this video, and don't forget to live your true life.